Most backyard cooks pick their grill based on what their dad used. But after cooking on all three side by side this summer, I found a winner, and it was not the one I expected. Welcome to the Meat Authority. Today, we are settling the debate that has divided backyard cooks, competition pitmasters, and food scientists for decades. Pellet grill versus charcoal versus live fire. We are going to cook on all three, talk about what actually matters when you are feeding people you love, and by the end of this video, you will know exactly which one belongs in your backyard. Stick around, because the results of our side-by-side cook genuinely surprised me, and there's one detail about live fire that almost nobody talks about that changes everything. Let's start with the grill that gets the most hate from purists, the pellet grill. And here's the thing, most of that hate is unfair. A pellet grill works by feeding compressed wood pellets from a hopper into a fire pot, where they combust and generate both heat and smoke. A digital controller manages the whole process, so you set your temperature, say 225 degrees, and it holds there almost automatically. It is part smoker, part convection oven, and it is genuinely incredible at low and slow cooking. Brisket, pork shoulder, ribs, anything that needs 8, 10, 12 hours of consistent heat is where the pellet grill absolutely shines. The bark it builds is real, the smoke ring is real, and the hands-off nature of it means you can actually enjoy your cookout instead of babysitting a fire all day. But here is the first open question I want you to hold on to. If pellet grills are this good, why do so many competition pitmasters still refuse to use them? We'll get to that, and the answer involves something called volatile compounds. Keep that in your back pocket. Now here's a pattern worth noticing. Every time a new grill technology comes out, the old guard calls it cheating. They said it about gas grills in the 70s, about pellet grills in the 90s, and they will say it about whatever comes next. But the real question has never been about tradition. It's about flavor, control, and results on the plate. So let's keep going with that lens. Charcoal. This is where the religion lives. Charcoal grilling, whether you are using a classic kettle, a kamado, or a simple drum smoker, is built on one thing: direct combustion of carbon. When lump charcoal burns, it produces a dry, intense heat with a clean, slightly mineral smoke character. Briquettes burn more evenly and longer, but introduce some binders into the equation, which is why most serious cooks reach for lump. The control curve on charcoal is steeper. You are managing airflow through vents, arranging coals for direct and indirect zones, and reading heat with your hand over the grate. It takes practice, but once you have it, something clicks, and you start to understand why people are passionate about this method.
Here is what charcoal does that a pellet grill simply cannot. It gets scorching hot, fast. We are talking 700, 800 degrees at the grate level if you want it. That is what creates a true steakhouse sear, a deep mahogany crust on a ribeye with that crackling caramelized exterior, while the inside stays a perfect medium rare. The Maillard reaction, which is the chemical process responsible for that gorgeous brown crust, happens fastest and most intensely at high, dry heat. Charcoal delivers that in a way that pellet grills, which top out around 500 degrees on most models, just cannot match. So right now you might be thinking, okay, pellet grills win on low and slow, charcoal wins on high heat searing. Case closed, right? Not even close. Because now we need to talk about live fire, and this is where things get genuinely ancient and genuinely surprising. Live fire cooking, meaning cooking directly over or beside a wood fire, not compressed pellets, not processed charcoal, but actual burning logs, is the oldest cooking method on Earth. And it is having a massive renaissance right now in fine dining and backyard cooking alike. Here is why. When you burn whole wood, oak, cherry, hickory, pecan, you are not just generating heat, you are releasing a complex cascade of aromatic compounds, phenols, guaiacol, syringol. These compounds cling to the surface of meat in a way that processed fuel simply cannot replicate. This is the answer to the question I planted earlier about why competition pitmasters resist pellet grills. In a blind taste test, trained palates can consistently identify meat cooked over real wood. The flavor is layered in a way that reads as more alive, more complex. It is the difference between cologne and the smell of someone who has been outside all day. One is an imitation, one is the real thing. Now here is the detail almost nobody talks about. Live fire is not just about the smoke. It is about the radiant heat from the embers. When you let a wood fire burn down to coals and cook over those glowing embers, the infrared radiation penetrates the surface of the meat differently than convective heat does. It's why Argentine-style, where beef short ribs hang beside a fire for hours, tastes different from anything you have ever eaten. It's why whole fish cooked over a beach fire has a texture no oven can reproduce. The heat is alive in a way that is genuinely hard to describe until you taste it. Pitmaster's tip right here: if you want to try live fire without a major setup, start with a chimney starter full of hardwood lump charcoal. Add 2 or 3 small splits of dried fruit wood, apple or cherry work perfectly, and let the whole thing burn down before you cook. You get 80% of the live fire experience in a regular kettle grill. That charred, complex crust on a pork chop cooked that way will make you rethink everything. So here's the honest breakdown after cooking on all 3.
Pellet grill wins on consistency and accessibility. If you are new to smoking, if you want to set it and come back 8 hours later to a perfect brisket, buy a pellet grill. It lowers the floor for great barbecue dramatically, and there is nothing wrong with that. Charcoal wins on versatility and high heat performance. If you want to sear a steak, smoke some ribs, and roast a chicken all on the same afternoon, a good charcoal setup gives you the range to do it. And live fire wins on flavor, full stop. The ceiling on what is possible over real burning wood is higher than the other 2 methods can reach. The complexity, the aroma, the way the smoke interacts with fat and connective tissue, it is in a category of its own. But here is the real answer, the one I promised at the start. There is no single winner for every situation. The best backyard cooks I know own at least 2 of these. They use their pellet grill for the long overnight cooks where consistency is everything. They fire up charcoal for weeknight steaks and weekend chicken. And when they really want to impress, when the occasion calls for something unforgettable, they build a real fire and let it do its ancient, magnificent work. The question was never which grill wins. The question is which fire matches the moment. And now you have the knowledge to make that call every single time. What is your go-to setup for summer cooking? Drop it in the comments. Pellet, charcoal, live fire, or some combination. I read every single one, and I genuinely want to know. Hit the like button if this helped you see these methods differently, and subscribe so you never miss a video. Next time, we are taking one specific cut of beef and cooking it 6 different ways to find the absolute best method. You are not going to want to miss that one.